Oh, let's save the planet. I'm Andrei Mincov, the founder of Trademark Factory, and in this video I'm going to share my thoughts about yet another trademarking update. This time around, it's Stella McCartney managing to convince the trademarks office that fur-free fur is not descriptive. Alright, let me start by reading from the article, and you can always find the link in the description below. Stella McCartney wins fight over fur-free fur trademark. For 2 years, Stella McCartney has been fighting for fur-free fur, not the textile itself, but the terminology, which appears on square patches adorning the designer's products. After carefully developing materials that incorporate the look and feel of fur, but without any animal cruelty, and slapping visible fur-free fur tags on them, complete with the same font as Stella McCartney's main logo, the brand's legal team sought to register the term as a trademark with the USPTO for use in connection with various types of garments and accessories. The problem? USPTO said no. Following a string of back and forth communications beginning shortly after McCartney filed a trademark application, the USPTO's examining attorney made it clear that in his view, fur-free fur is not serving as a trademark. It doesn't identify the source of McCartney's products in the same way as, say, an LV logo on a bag identifies the Louis Vuitton brand, for instance. Instead, he determined that it was merely describing features of McCartney's goods, and thus ineligible for registration, as trademark law does not protect purely descriptive marks. Okay, so descriptive marks are marks where all you're trying to do is trademark a word or a phrase that refers to a feature or a characteristic or a benefit of your product, and you do it in such a way that everyone would understand that the phrase or the word is not in reference to you, but in reference to that feature or characteristic. And the idea behind the law that says you can't trademark them is that if that's the word commonly used to describe a feature, if you were the only one given the monopoly to use that, how would your competitors be able to sell the same product or offer the same service and refer to that product or feature without using the name, right? So in most countries, in the vast majority of countries, you can't trademark descriptive trademarks. Actually, in the US, there is this thing called supplemental trademark register where you are allowed to register such trademarks as long as they're not confusingly similar with other previously filed or registered trademarks. But that's a story for another day. Let me finish reading. According to the examining attorney, evidence of record indicates that Stella McCartney intended the connotation of the mark to be easily understood and obvious to the general public so that it would clearly convey the fact that its goods are made of material that resembles the pelt of an animal, of a mammal, but are not in fact made from materials from the skin of a mammal. Unhappy with the outcome before the USPTO, Stella McCartney's counsel appealed the matter to the USPTO's Trademark Trial and Appeal Board, TTAB, in June of 2018, arguing that fur-free fur does not describe the brand's products, but it's actually a whole lot more complicated than that. McCartney's counsel asserted that the fur-free fur mark obliquely suggests information about the goods. And there's a reason they use the word suggest, because unlike descriptive trademarks that are not trademarkable, suggestive trademarks are trademarkable. And suggestive trademark means it hints at a certain feature, characteristic, or benefit of a product or a service without making it so clear that it would be unfair for you to have the monopoly about it. For example, Trademark Factory. That's not descriptive. That's why we were able to trademark it in many, many countries. It's suggestive. So you kind of understand what we do. You may have some clue as to how we do it, but that's all it does. It just suggests that we offer a trademarking service, nothing more. So that's why they use the word suggest, obliquely suggest. To be exact, the mark itself is more than the sum of its parts because it is comprised of terms that, when taken together, present an incongruous and circular meaning that requires additional thought on the part of the consumer, McCartney's counsel argued. Again, there's a very fine line between descriptive and suggestive, and often that line is very subjective too, because really it revolves around the standard, the legal standard, that suggestive marks are those that require some degree of thought and imagination for potential consumers to arrive from the mark over to the characteristics, features, or benefits. Whereas with merely descriptive trademarks, no such extra thought or imagination process is necessary. So the question is, how do you tell one or the other? Well, there's a trademark examiner, or like in this case, the appeals board. They make that determination based on whatever their reading of the situation is all about. So let's keep reading. And as of late last week, the TTAB's panel of judges agreed, for the most part. According to the majority decision, fur-free fur is not a mere description of McCartney's products because in McCartney's mark, the two instances of the term fur have different meanings, which is likely to give consumers pause. The first use of the word fur refers exclusively to animal fur, stating that the goods are animal fur free. And in the second instance, fur refers to imitation fur. Thus, the two different meanings of the term fur within McCartney's single mark creates a logical paradox, suggesting that the goods are both fur-free and made of fur at the same time, and thereby not descriptive. Before sending the matter back down to the USPTO in order to move towards registration, given the majority decision in McCartney's favor, administrative trademark judge Kutsma added his own opinion, disagreeing with the other two and asserting that the mark is, in his view, merely descriptive. So, like I said, this is very subjective. They're looking at the same set of facts, they're looking at the same set of laws, and two of them reach one decision and one reaches a completely different decision. And yeah, just like the article finishes, aren't trademarks fun? Exactly. So I kind of already explained what the difference is between the descriptive and suggestive. Stella McCartney's lawyers were able to convince the panel that the mark is more suggestive than it is descriptive, and so her trademark will eventually go through. Now, on a personal level, I don't support this movement that hopes to ban the use of real fur in fur coats and other clothing garments, but I'm happy in this case, from the trademarking perspective, that the appeals board was able to see the value and the creativity that went into crafting the name Fur-Free Fur, because it's more than just saying, well, we don't use animal fur, right? Or no animal fur used. A lot of creativity went into building that name. And it would be unfair if the person who created it, however much I disagree with her stance on animals and fur, it would have been unfair if she couldn't claim monopoly over that brand. So that has been resolved in her favor. and good for her. Now, if you love animals, whether alive or as part of the fur coat, or even if you don't, if you found this video interesting or useful, subscribe now and get notified whenever the next one goes live. It's not an animal channel, it's a trademarks channel. We talk about brands, we talk about trademarks. And if you got a brand that you want to trademark, go to trademarkfactory.com and book a call with our strategy advisors, and we'll take it from there. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.